Welcome to the Queen Divas, Queens of Fitness podcast. Join your hosts, three-time WBFF world champions and WBFF royalty, Alicia Gowans and Stephanie Ayala McHugh, as we explore all things female health, training, competing, mindset, and living the fitness life every day.
Okay, welcome everybody back to the latest edition of Queen Divas podcast with my beautiful co-host, Stephanie Ayala McHugh, and myself.
Hello, everyone. Okay, first and foremost, though, Ali, my biggest question is, how are you feeling, woman? I know you've started your prep, you've started your prep for Atlantic City, and things have started to look a little, not wonky, but just a little like different for you. So,
So,
how are you feeling?
So I guess recap on prep. As we talked about in my episode, this prep is totally different to anything that I have ever done before. I have never had to train more than 4 days a week, maximum 5. I've not ever had to do like aggressive cardio. I've always cruised through on pretty decent calories the whole way. This one's so different. I have had to introduce cardio. We had to make an executive decision.
Cardio. Sorry, I have to say that.
Let me
Everyone knows.
Cardiovascular fitness is super important. And as you know, if you're looking at general health and optimizing health, cardiovascular fitness should be part of the pillars, right? It should be
Absolutely.
Strength, agility, flexibility, and also cardiovascular. So that, I'm not negating cardio, and I'm not a cardio hater.
No, but we all are like dun dun dun.
Yeah, like when about it from the context of a perfect prep, and an ideal prep is where you are capable of maintaining a deficit, yes, but one that's not, dragging your ass around the house type level, and where you don't have to be pounding pavements plus doing an hour in the gym on cardio plus an hour on weights, right? That's your ideal prep, is when it doesn't look like that. Well, at the moment, mine's fucking about to.
It's about burning more than you're intaking, guys. Okay.
Look, sorry.
At the end of the day, it's still science. It's about energy balance and making sure you're burning more than what you're intaking. So what are you burning at the moment, Ali? Because I'm very curious.
Well, look,
what
normally in a normal prep, it's sort of 350 to 500 cals a day total, right?
Yes,
it's not anything stupid crazy, right? But at the moment,
I know that's not crazy for a lot of people, but please, people that are listening, understand that she just said 350 to 500, and that's on average. I see these individuals burning 200, 150, 250, and I'm like, girl, are you even trying? Like, are you even getting a little effort? So just note real quickly what she just said about that range, because it's
normally, to put it in context too, like I'm burning that normally through my weight training plus a step count only, right? Like it's not a hectic.
This is in addition. This is in addition to your weight training.
Yeah. So like at the moment though, for me, the only reason it looks like it does is because anyone tuning into this that for some reason doesn't know, I had 7 layers deep cut through my midsection only 12 weeks ago. And I literally didn't get the clearance to start training what I would call moderately heavy again until this week. So for everyone listening to this,
6 weeks out, she was able to do body weighted movement.
Yep. And then at about 9 weeks post, I was able to start loading lightly. So for everyone listening, I've only actually been lifting weights again for 4 weeks.
It's insane. That's pretty freaking insane. So
I'm like 10 weeks out ago, and I've only been lifting for 4 weeks.
10 weeks. So that puts you at 14 weeks out from our last episode that we actually recorded, that you were able to lift, right? Like lift and start lifting. And so let's say these first 4 weeks, how is your body feeling?
You know what? I'm actually feeling fucking incredible at the moment. Like, I just had this conversation with my team where I said, I feel like myself this week. This week, it's like all of a sudden something like
dangerous.
My waist has visibly come in. So, okay, to backtrack for a second, the reason that this prep looks different too is that we kept my calories really high for breastfeeding, for healing, all of the things that had to happen. So I didn't actually start a cut until literally like 2 weeks ago on food.
Right.
And then I've literally taken like a dive cut, so a little bit more of an aggressive cut as of Tuesday, right? So now I'm actually freaking hungry. And Steph, if you're sitting by me right now and smelling as good as you usually do, I'd probably try to bite your arm. Like it's actual hunger, right? So I'm in the depths of it again. And it always, I find, takes me about a week to calibrate to a drop and feel like I'm not ready to fucking eat anything that stands still beside me long enough. But so I'm in that moment still now where I'm like, oh my God, I'm like thinking about food. I'm salivating over a picture of food. I don't even need to smell it. Like it's literally at that point. But in the next week, I'll be fine.
Many relate with you right now, Allie, right? Like I'm sure so many of the listeners are like, girl, I'm with you. I'll eat that.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like freaking drowning on those freaking.
I think it's good for people to hear that, you know, someone even at my level and having done it for, you know, Christ, 12 years now, I still get that. It's normal. It's a normal human reaction, normal human function. It's all of the signals that are going.
You're hungry. Let's just put it that way, y'all. You're hungry,
right?
She's so to eat everything and anything that's in front of her.
Exactly. So that's happening at the moment this week. So we've had the drop in calories. I'm actually going to go and do my check-in as soon as I finish recording this, so I'll know exactly how much more I've progressed. But up until this point, so there'll be more coming. But up until this point, I had dropped 20 mils in my calipers. I had dropped I think it was 3 kilos in total from when I postpartum to, you know, my last check-in. So it should be
like 4 to 6 pounds for my, you know, American listeners.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is that's a loss from my pre-pregnancy weight, right? So that's where we've gotten to.
She's already, this is the whole progress rate. It's not like she did that in a week, because I think sometimes they're like, wait, why did I lose 6 pounds in a week? I'm like, excuse me, but it doesn't happen in a week. But what she's been able to do in these last few weeks has been between 4 to 6 pound average. So that just gives you a little insight of where Allie's is and where it's
normally I would be looking at a half a kilo max a week, and I would normally be dropping from 20 weeks out, and I normally don't have as much to lose as what I've had to lose in 6 weeks less time frame, with no ability to load properly until like now.
Different story this time.
It's a totally different story. So this is like the most challenging prep I've ever done in my life, but I'm kind of like, I'm digging it because
it's exciting, right? It's kind of it's an unknown territory for us.
It's really pushing me.
Where you're going to thrive. And this is where I was thriving last, you know, obviously my last practice. The fact that you don't know what's to come.
Oh my God.
What is going to
and really you know, happen. You have these moments where you're like, holy shit.
What the fuck's going to happen?
So I'm like, when am I going to look like that? And that normally, I look like that at normally like 16 weeks out. I'm not even looking like that at 10 weeks out.
But Allie, this is a good
look like that?
Touch real quick, because everyone always compares their preps or current preps to their previous preps.
And you can't.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I have raised this before. I have raised this before. Yeah.
We do not compare this prep that's a post-pregnancy prep for you. My situation, injury prep, right? Like, and you've had to deal with those before. We don't have the same story to write for this year. And this year, it's a completely different story we're writing, a different narrative. We're a completely different person approaching the preps. And what you're saying right now is so awesome to hear, because I can see the excitement in your face as an actual competitor. And I can only imagine as a coach how much that's making you better, because that's
to be honest,
I'm such a good coach this year because of the shit that I had to go through.
And I think what's also really cool. Hang on a second. Oh no. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just hang on a second. We're going to have to get whoever's editing this to get to this point and then edit. Can you just run upstairs and see if Christos is actually on a Zoom at the same time? Because it's telling me that's logged me out of this.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that this
it still shows me on my end you're recording.
Okay, good. I just want to make doubly sure, because I don't.
No, I got you. We don't want another rehab. I got you. So if we were at minute, what can we like note it for the team?
I don't know, but we'll just tell Christos that there's this big chunk. So like only about 5 minutes or so.
We started with, it's within the first 15 minutes.
Within the first 15 minutes,
yeah, within the first 15 minutes. Okay, we'll wait.
We'll just keep talking as if we are, because hopefully, fingers crossed, there's no issues with it. Okay. So the reason that this prep looks so different is because what we just talked about, right? Those variables where I'm not comparing it to previous prep, but when you do look at the timeline on a previous prep, the reason I don't have cardio and the reason I cruise through on higher calories is because I maintain a less body fat level to start with, right? So I'm not pushing shit uphill, essentially. So this prep though, out of my control, the level of shit I'm pushing uphill, unfortunately, post baby and post C-section, there's a lot of it.
Reason you were pushing a baby, woman.
Grinding. So my one of my very best friends, he's like a brother to me, and he's actually a very experienced practitioner and sports nutritionist. Anyway, we were having a chat at dinner when he came over the other night, and I'm like, bro, this is where I'm at. These are my stats. This is what I've got to go. This is the timeline we've got to go in. I said, I'm going to actually do this cut. This is what I'm, calculating out. I wouldn't mind you running your eye over it. Anyway, he calculates it out. We actually got the same, within like 20 cals of each other, right? And he looks at me and he goes, oh, sis.
You're fucking good, right?
No, but he goes, this is going to be fucked.
I know. I've said this on the last episode, but you guys, I get goosebumps. Like I honestly chills in my
this
spot.
is like not what we would do with a client. No, and hell no. I said no client.
No, but you're a different breed. You're a complete different animal. And that's why I say I get chills. I get chills because I only know what this woman's capable of doing. So I know what she's gonna bring to the table is gonna be fucking
I hope so. I'm fucking
no, and I know that's that pressure. Okay, going into pressure, because I think that this has a lot to do with this cloud, right? Like that we build over our day-to-day life. Maybe it's social media, maybe
so let's actually segue on this, because before I go into it, the difference between this prep and last prep is where I talk about this average being 350 to 500 calories in a day. My hole this time, I need to be in a hole of a 650 gap.
Okay, guys, listen.
So this is when you listen to this is so for, can I reach the deadline? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Unbelievably so, because
that shit's tough.
I'm juggling home life, baby, newborn, work, multiple teams and shows. Plus I've got to have the time. It's not that I can't do it. It's time. It's just scheduling the time that it takes to burn that amount into my day. So that's what I've been trying to do. I've been working over the last 24 hours at scheduling, looking at calculating out what I'm doing. So we're doing the cycle class twice a week, 300, 350 cal burn in that alone. I've increased my step count beyond what I would normally be doing at this point, purely because that's going to give me the burn. I've introduced which I've never done, post weights cardio at the end of my weights, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. So I'm not in the gym twice. I'm not doing hours still. I'm being very fucking effective, and I'm making really effective strategic choices about how I'm structuring my cardio so that the burn rate's up, so that I get the calorie burn. So it's more about the total calories burn than it is time spent. So I think that's really valuable to say, right? But what I will go into is, if I was concerned in any way, shape or form about my timeline on this, the worst thing I could be doing is looking at women that are going to be in or around the same time as me, that are in a normal prep process, in a normal strategy, with, not having to do the push or the grind as much as I am, because they're not trying to drop the same amount of body fat percentage in this shorter window. They've been doing it, as I would have done, and as I do with my clients over a longer period. I would be freaking myself the fuck out if I was doing that. If I was looking at these women, I would be going, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make it. This is insurmountable, this hill that I've got to climb, and I can't possibly reach the top. And instead I'm like, no way. I'm like, I don't have time for that news feed. I don't have time to scroll that crap. I've got literally no time to scratch my own ass, because my time is now taken up with the calorie burn focus, and I'm just ticking my boxes and I'm hitting every day and making sure my habits are done. And I just don't. You know what? I'm on it for a very specific short period of time. It is to do the job that I've got to do on social media, which is educate and basically promote and engage with the people that are engaging with me, and answer questions, obviously, that's going to help them grow. But outside of that, I'm not on there. Outside of that, I don't go on, I don't look at anyone, and I'm not interested. To be quite honest with you, I'm not interested, because all I can worry about is my race and what's in front of me. So this is a great segue, because it shows that if you want to get the most out of yourself, your day, your life, your mood, your energy, and also your prep, don't follow people that will psych you out, and maybe don't go spending time on social media that's not productive, valuable, and adding to your, life in some way. And it should always be a revenue generating way if you're going to waste time on it at all, because
100%.
what's the point otherwise, right? So
100%.
this was today's topic. We're going to be talking about social detoxing and why it's super important to just basically get a little savage every now and again, ladies, and be like, see you later, or
yes, ma'am,
or I'm gonna make you invisible for a little while. I'm not going to unfollow you because, hey, I might want your content later, but for now, I don't need to see your ass every day, right?
But I don't need to see anyone, because sometimes, and you guys, I have been absent from social media for quite a bit since post-show, and it's actually been quite intentional. At the beginning, it was unintentional, and it then became quite intentional because I realized the benefits that I had while social media detoxing. And the reason why we want to hit this today on social media detox is because we have so many clients worldwide that are living on social media, including ourselves. We're ones talking as well here, that we have to live on social media to tend to our clients,
because
we have to be a face for our brand. We also, have to be engaged with our audience, and all of this takes a big toll. And I will say the biggest toll that it takes is on our mental health. And I feel that the biggest trigger point here is you feeling lesser all the time.
Always comparison.
It always is life comparison, not just comparison, right? Like
100%,
life comparison.
100%, like she's got it better than me. He's doing this.
Oh, she's got the Louis bag, and she's on yachts, and she's over here with the Gucci belt. I mean, you know how many clients tell me, but she has a Gucci belt. I'm like, who gives a shit about the fucking Gucci belt? Like, come on. Like, she goes, but they get to post all these pictures and all these things doing the life. And it's like, guys, remember social media.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me just burst everyone's bubble for a hot second, because I can tell you now, the bitches on the boats, they probably hire them for a day, do a year's worth of content, and they have you thinking that they're living that lifestyle 365, y'all. They're fucking not, mate. Like, get to the point where you realize that 95% of what you see is a strategically fabricated and positioned reel of someone's life. It's not actually the facts or the day-to-day everything. They really are positioning their brand. So if they want you to think that way about them, that's what they're posting it for, man. That doesn't mean that's how they're living.
To buy the product, to be able to sell their name, to 100%. Be able to give you some type of FOMO, which leads me into this whole other realm of FOMO. What's FOMO? A lot of this word goes around so much, and it's FOMO. And it's like, what the fuck is FOMO though? So FOMO is fear of missing out. And the fear of missing out creates this anxiety and this whole other realm of I'm not good enough, and I'm not here when I'm there, and I'm there, but I'm not here. Come on. Like, this is a freaking big fake lie that we're just creating ourselves. And it's saying, I want to be here. And then when you're there, let's say
you're not actually present because you're watching something someone else is doing in another space, and you're like, well, I don't have that bag, so now I'm not happy again. Like, absolutely.
It's just never ending circle that is the hamster on the wheel, and you're acting like I want to be over there with the the grass is greener on the other side, versus I'm actually with all the things and assets that I need here by myself, but I'm not realizing.
What I think is that and I do this every single year, sometimes more than once. And anyone that follows me can check out my page. I don't follow many people or many pages, and I cull it quite frequently, and I refill it with different things. But what you'll notice is things that I follow outside of my immediate client base, which I always follow because I like to catch them out on the shit they do on the weekends. No, I'm joking. I just love to see the progress they do. And I support them.
When I watch your stories, it's because I'm fucking.
I saw what you had on the weekend, Karen.
Same.
Very funny.
I'm a ghost on the story sometimes for that.
I just support their journey. But outside of that, like the things that I follow are literally fuel me. They fuel me in some way. They're feeding my mind, they're feeding my soul, they're educating, or they're peers that I deeply respect, and I'm supporting their journey and I'm promoting them as they promote me, or it's partners, business partners that I have, right? So that's literally it. I'm not interested in what Mary Jane down the road's doing. I'm not interested in old mate who's some freaking hotshot on TikTok's doing. I couldn't give a shit. If it's not actually fueling me across the relevant things that add value to my life, what am I even looking at it for? If I want entertainment, I spend 5 minutes with fucking Christos.
Amen to that.
Spend some time with my son. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily need social media for entertainment for me personally. I get that some people do, but I find that's the biggest time burn that there possibly is on the planet.
But Ali, you nailed it though. I think a lot of people are looking for social media to give them entertainment, and then they lead into this whole realm of comparisons, which is it's a rabbit hole. But it's way more than that. I feel like social media creates lifestyle habits. It also creates this. You must look at your phone at certain times of the day. You rely on this tendency that you've created to check your social media. Doesn't matter. It's likes, it's for maybe publicity, and maybe for your business. Don't get me wrong. Like, social media is a vehicle for your business, right? Like, it's to help you grow, but at the same time, it also is self-destructive for your business or for yourself. So for your business itself, you could be comparing to other businesses. So we may not be talking about a physical standpoint here and say that I'm comparing myself to Ali, and then Ali looks better physically. I might be looking at Ali and being like, shit, her business is better than mine, right? Like,
and you know what? That's actually a thing. That's a legitimate thing. I hear
totally.
that. I hear clients that are PTs, because obviously you'll be the same. You have a lot of PTs, a lot of clients that are PTs or online coaches, and they'll talk about that. They'll talk about how this person's doing so much better and blah blah blah, all the things. And I'm like,
but you're still just looking over the other lane. You're not focusing on your lane.
They're not you. You got to remember this.
Amen.
They're not physically you. So even if they do XYZ really great, play to your strengths, and no one will ever beat you because they can't play your game. Only you can run that lane. So now focus only on that. And it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. And, you know, like, I'm a big believer that there is so many people on the planet and so many people that need help with health and fitness, that there's enough for all of us to have enough money. Do you know what I mean? Like, stop trying to be
is so much around
and chew your way to the top, because you don't need to do that. If you just continue to highlight what you do, finesse what you do, and improve upon your service delivery, you'll never have anything to worry about. This is the end of the line, you know, like, just keep focusing on you do you, boo, right? But beyond that, you know, we had these conversations with clients today, and I actually had to get like fucking hard alley conversation up in the chat where I'm like, stop it, just don't, because we've got a few that are, you know, looking at what other people are doing in prep with food. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. She's 25 years younger than you and eating 2,500 calories coming to stage, because her off season is nearly 4,000 calories. And she's a fucking ectomorph who runs through carbs like it's water. Like,
and they may also have more muscle mass than you. So how can you compare to someone that has more muscle mass?
And then there's someone else. More food. There's someone else who has significant limitations in food and is looking at another girl and going, well, she's eating this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, because she can, for starters, you can't. And then secondly, where we started her prep will look very different to you. And she has about 10 kilos of muscle on you. Like, so again, you cannot be doing that. You cannot be looking at a social media platform and being like, okay, well, there's something wrong with what I'm doing, or my way is not right, because you've got to remember that everything people post is an individual thing for starters, and you don't understand all the other variables. You don't know where they're sitting in their off season. You don't know their metabolic health and their metabolic history. You don't know whether or not they're doing an 800 calorie burn day output so they can actually eat a lot more than you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
100%, Allie.
I think with social media, it's a double-edged sword on so many levels, and it's something where you've got to recognize, where is my headspace at this point in time, and how healthy am I right now mentally? Am I capable of actually assessing with logic someone doing something different to me, or being in a different spot, or maybe even already having what I'm trying to attain for myself without jealousy? Can I look at that? If not, don't look at it. Get it out of your feed, or get off your feed altogether for a little while, right?
This was exactly what I was going to mention next is, guys, if you're feeling any of these things, anxiety, starting to feel that this app, whether if it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, any of the apps that are, I don't know, Twitter, or any of the ones that you open and give you any sense of anxiety, you need a detox, because that means your brain is wired to accumulate this stress. The cortisol is rising the moment you even open the app. You don't even have to see anything. That just means your body is pre-sensing that you're already going to enter a realm of anxiety, of overwhelming anxiety, of like you not knowing whether you fit, you don't know what to do, you don't know what is next. You don't even know what's reality in general for your own life. And if this is you, any of the things that I've said, you're feeling, you need to get off of social media, because it's not reality. You need to come in tune with your own reality. That means your own self. That means what you like about yourself, away from social media, not what somebody is influencing you to think that you like about yourself.
And hey, if you're following people where you're looking at them and going, let's just say they might be the polar opposite to you, right? Like say you're a mum who's got stretch marks, you got the tiger prints down the front of your abs, and you're looking at all these 20-year-olds never had kids that don't have any blemishes whatsoever. How relevant is that to your journey, and how positive is that on your mental space? Not at all. Like actually get really real and start following women who have had multiple kids that are doing what you want to do, that look somewhat similar to you, or that make you, or at least make you feel good about yourself, and knowing that you can attain these things and that you don't need to be perfect. And there is nothing wrong with having a stretch mark or a little bit of cellulite or something that's an imperfection, right? So again, I'll keep bringing it back to, you really need to stay in the realm of what's relevant for you and going to keep you healthy, right? Like I don't think that
triggers, if anything triggers your mind,
exactly. I don't think you should be watching something that you know is going to make you feel even shitter about something you're already picking on yourself about.
So we keep talking about self, obviously diagnosing, comparison, all the above, but what do we really do with a lot of social media is waste fucking time, right? Like
100%.
What are you being? Are you being productive? Nah. Like you're just 100%. Wasting time scrolling and really involving yourself in somebody else's life. That do they do service to you? Do they help? Do they? I mean, unless it's an educational post, but
you can see on your phone, right? Your social media usage.
Okay, but that's hours wasted. I'm being honest.
I just want to throw this out there. Everyone listening to this, jump on your phone right now and have a look at how much time you currently spend on your social media apps. I reckon you will probably be like, holy shit.
What can you do with those extra 5 hours, 8 hours? I hope they're not 12 hours, gosh. But, within a range, the average person spends between 3 to 8 hours, which blows my mind. It blows my mind. Okay, so that's a part-time job. And then also a kind of full-time job, okay? From 3 to 8. 3 is a part-time, 3 to 4 is part-time. 8 is full-time here in the States, okay?
Unless so if you're actually
week.
Unless you're actually earning money from social media, and it's actually
you should not be on that much
model, you should not be spending much time on it. Like,
okay,
what the hell?
This is what leads to my next thing. If you don't get paid to be a social media manager, a social media content creator, a social media influencer through sponsorships, through actual companies that pay you to be influencers, then what the hell are you doing? Spending 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day on social media, living through other people's lives. Honestly, what can you do with your life in those extra
right hours? Imagine the gap that you could fill.
Okay, so that's what I've been doing.
Okay, you are actually honest. I agree.
Like, I've been focusing these last 4 weeks post-show essentially on getting my life together, my shit together, organizational things like cleaning my closet out, cleaning my house out, things that I didn't have time for before, because guess what? I was on social media. I was literally spending hours on social media just trying to respond to DMs, respond to comments, trying to post and engage and all the things. And you know what? Yes, they're part of my business. They're part of what I need to do. But at the same time, they were taking a toll on my mental health. They were taking a toll on my time management for my day-to-day activities that I needed to get done. Not just
also they're distracting you, and they're also detracting from your relationships, right? You're not being able to be present with your family and your loved ones as much.
So my family was affected. My mom, my dad, my sister, 100%, my friends. Like, so look, I had a big realization.
And an example of what we're just talking about right now is, and I sometimes feel a little guilty for it, because you have to do certain amount of things and certain times and whatever else. We all have it drummed into us, especially those of us that are actually, we're on social media, right? I actually had the entire weekend where we went to Canberra just recently for Bobby to meet Nick, his uncle, for the very first time.
His first time?
Very first time, because he just got home from the US Open. Gosh. You know what? Did any of you see it or know about it? Nope, because I didn't put any of it on my social media. I just decided that from Thursday through to Tuesday when we got home, I didn't post pictures of the.
But Ali, this is what I love.
Family lunch we had. I didn't post
privacy.
Playtime. Like, exactly.
Being able to get some privacy from the whole social media. 100%. Like, it's a nice break. And it's not reality what you see online. So what you're posting is semi-reality, or like trying to put your best photos, your best videos, your best things. And it's not, unless you're doing an Ali type of documentary here, where I love being able to follow a page like Ali's, where she's documenting the hards, the lows of the prep. She's documenting the actual ins and outs that she's struggling with, and the highs, the good parts. But at the same time, you get to go to her page and be pretty realistic with what she's going through. There's so many pages that you go to, and you cannot even
they're all filtered, and
a pregnant woman that she had pregnancy, it looked like she was perfect giving birth, and it's like I know that's not real. Like, come on. And then you're telling me you didn't have a freaking baby stomach tuck, like, and I know what we're seeing with Ali, it's real. It's able, to see day to day, week to week. So it's reality. And I think a lot of the pages that we do follow, and Ali's right, you just have to unfollow them. But there's a lot of the times, why are we spending this amount of time on social media trying to follow pages that don't even, again, pay us? Because if they're not paying you, are you just wanting to be an intern for them? And ask yourself this question, because I'm kind of like scrolling. I'm just like a free intern, right? Because you're an intern for these people, just to be their followers and engaging party, right? So what we're really trying to say here is social media detox is essential for those that are starting to get overwhelmed, very big on maybe not feeling like their life is where they need to be. Because if you're not living in your life and present in your life, how can you really be sure that this is the life you're trying to create? You're just in someone else's life. You're trying to be the girl on the yacht with the Louis and the Gucci and all the stuff, and you're trying to not look inward and see.
You know what I think? Whenever I see those posts and those pages, all I think is, man, you got a lot of growing up to do. Like, that's my immediate thought is, you have a lot of growing up to do. Because if that's all you value, your life is pretty fucking shallow. Like there
But you
is,
know what, Ali?
where's
What's so
the
fucking
substance?
unfortunate
You know what I
is
mean?
that 100% I agree, but
Like,
the
where's your loved
unfortunate
ones?
part
Where's
is that the life that we're trying to emulate or whatever these girls are doing, right? It's really what the society wants. And this is what the big
basically
picture here is that everyone's trying to do what the main population of the world is wanting to like and wants. So the Gucci and the Louis and the yachts is what the main of this world, right? No matter what
And then
country
you
you're
got-
in,
and then you
that's
got
what they
people-
fantasize.
Then you got
And
people
then-
like me that own the Gucci's, the Louis, the whatever.
Right, and that's
sitting
okay.
always in tights and sweats. And
That's what I was
hair,
gonna
no
say
makeup.
next.
What the
In
fuck?
reality, the people that have the, real, obviously luxury type of
Yeah.
items and
Don't
live that
post
way,
about them all the time.
don't post about it.
No.
It's those that are trying to mimic it. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with designer. There's nothing wrong with living.
No,
with,
but I get what you're saying. It
life
shouldn't be
life.
the only thing on your feed, though. Like it kind of makes me go, yeah.
It
Like
makes
I
other
said,
other
my
people
first
feel like
thought
the
is-
lesser.
my first thought is you have a lot of growing up to do, and I know that because I think and I reflect back on myself in my very early 20s when I thought that was important stuff, right? And I was accumulating it, and I would have been a lot more flashy with it back then. Now it doesn't mean the same things to me. It's like it's just something that I have. It's something that I'm proud of myself for being able to acquire them, sure, but I don't have to rub them in people's faces. I don't have to wear them all the time. I don't have to post about them. It's just a different space you sit in. And the things that I think I'd rather spend my money on now are investments and property, and the things that accumulate
yes.
wealth don't decrease in wealth. So it's a different mindset. And all I think to myself now is, man, you have growing up to do, because you need to mature past these things that are going to decline in value versus the things, that add value to your life or appreciate in value over your lifetime, right? So it's a totally different mindset. And I think
It's
maybe
the
that's something that comes with
mindset, for
age.
sure.
I don't know, but
I wouldn't say
at the
with
risk
age,
of
though,
sounding like a
because-
dinosaur right now.
I was gonna say though, it's not aged, because let me tell you, I've seen people that are barely turning 40, 50, 60 and barely hitting their 20s, quote unquote,
Oh,
with my coach,
wow, okay.
right? Like that they're barely trying to like do the fancy and all the other stuff, flashy stuff. And it's like, again, it's materialistic, and things that
Yeah.
are materialistic can make someone feel a certain way, like really good about themselves because they're proud of how far they've come economically, right? But also other people that maybe don't have those economic finances and
Yeah.
levels are actually feeling lesser from these individuals than
Yeah.
actually feeling like, oh,
Yeah, I've
that's what
got
I want.
I've actually got a friend that's like this. I've got a friend that, is still in that space of, flashy.
Yeah.
If you turn up to one of their events, it's like, if you're not wearing on brand, on point, you're the only one there that's not. And it's, it's like that. And
Kim K
it's the
style and all
only,
the Hollywood
it's like
style.
that. And it's the only time that I sort of look at it and think, oh, wow, I'm so glad I'm beyond this part of my life. Like, I'm
Oh,
so glad I've been there, done that.
course.
It's way
But you know
past.
what though? That's not reality. As much as they try to make it reality, it's not. And besides the point, guys, like this is social media detox. And I feel like the social media detox that we're talking about is if any of the things that we're talking about makes you feel a certain way and you're starting to get anxiety when you're on social media, you're not being productive. You can be a lot more productive by being offline because you're spending too much time living through other people's lenses. You really want to look in and actually start trying to allocate some of this time that you're spending on social inward towards the things that you can be better at in life.
To bridge
For
the
example,
gap, right? On the things that you think someone else has, just work on those things rather than sitting there.
that for
looking
sure.
other
You got to
people
work
going,
on those inner things. Or guess what? Get a little more present in your life, because most of the time that we're just stuck on our phone and living through the lens, we are just so wrapped up. How many times maybe you're at a dinner and all you're doing is checking your phone?
Oh my God, I can't.
Like,
I
God, that's
really
one of
struggle
my biggest pet peeves. Like,
I really struggle when people do that. I'm like,
it's one of my biggest pet peeves, because
Yeah,
you're
me
just sitting
too.
scrolling on your phone at a dinner means
you've
you
got someone
cannot
physically there
be
with you.
present at a dinner. We're just eating and having a drink and you cannot be present, that means that your mind and your life is stuck inside social media so much that you cannot actually spend real time.
Have you ever done that thing where you go to a restaurant and you literally just sit and watch people and you just see how many
all the time
sit there and they're
all
both
the
like
time.
this in their fucking phone across from each
Yeah.
other, not
All
talking.
the time.
I'm like, oh wow.
But that also comes with just our day-to-day society, how we're so involved in our phone and how we just have life pass by us just being in our screens and us not realizing we're not being present. So being present has been one of the things that I've really appreciated the most.
Oh, isn't it
my
good?
family.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Like,
good, right? When you can do it. I love it. I always, when I take those 4 days off of my stories and off of sharing it, I come back and I'm fresh. I'm like, oh hell yeah. Okay, now I'm motivated to actually get back.
So refreshing.
Yeah.
You feel like your focus is there. I feel like, okay, just to give you guys a little recap of kind of where my brain was, I was like brain fried. I was like over it. I just was like, every time I hopped on, I was like, I don't feel it. I'm actually feeling more overwhelmed with this app
than anything.
So I've actually taken a good little social media detox, and guess what? The benefits have been wonders. I have felt so much better, not just mentally, but at the same time, I've been so much more present within my life. I've got so many things organized. I've got so many things cleaned out. I've cleaned out my closet, so many things that I need to throw out.
And then you know what? It just makes you feel like you're
so much cleaner, fresher, like
there's like a weight that gets taken off you, right? So you're lighter, you're freer. There's room and expansiveness now to step into new stuff, right? And that doesn't mean, Stephanie, you go clean your wardrobe out so you can go online shopping and
girl, I already did that. Okay? Don't worry.
And don't go feeling more stuff, you little shopaholic. I feel like we need to have like a confessions of a shopaholic episode where we actually get like to see inside your closet and all the shenanigans of the things you hide.
You really want to see my closet because I swear the most.
I reckon that's exactly what it would be like. You are so. I love this. I love this.
It's been great though. All I've done is clean everything out of my house. I've redone interior design. Like what I mean is like just spruce things up. Like redone curtains, like shower curtains, rugs, and just a couple things to make
you actually getting into the detail in your life. So you're seeing the detail rather than just skimming over everything, right? And just making
feel present. I feel like I'm in my home. I feel like I'm actually here and I'm taking all of the benefits of me doing these small little things. And you know what? The best possible thing has been spending time with my family, being present with my actual loved ones. I was just like, okay, I'm hungry. I gotta go eat my meal. Bye-bye. I have to go to sleep.
On the detox side of things, you know, like what we're talking about too is not that you necessarily need to cut yourself completely from social media. As we're sort of talking about, you might choose, like for me, I have days of the week where I just specifically don't get on it much. And then when I do family trips, not every single one, but most of them I will stay offline for. I won't actually share much. I'm just super, super present and engaged. But I even have a hiatus from not just my Instagram, but also like my WhatsApp and my Messenger feed.
All of it.
In the days where
technology detox.
Correct. Where I want to be present with Christos and George. And for me, it's usually a day where I will still be programming. So I'll be in the system in my, spreadsheet, in my system, working, but I'm not on anything else. And a Thursday is my day for that. And then I 100% stay off shit on a Saturday, Sunday, because they're our family time. And I find that when I have those moments where I go completely rogue, completely off, oh my God, it's usually just because I have been overwhelmed by the necessity to physically do these things because I have to, and I lose the love of what I'm doing in the moment too, whether that's, prepping or, to do with, anything physical, like just even catching up with friends, like the shit that you think you have to be sharing all the time. It's really nice sometimes to just go, you know what, the world doesn't need to know what I'm putting on my fucking salad today, mate. And they don't need to know what pair of socks I'm choosing. Guess what? I can leave my handbag at home and it doesn't need to be a feature on the table at the breakfast. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be. It can just be for me and who I'm with. And that's all that matters today.
And that's the privacy I love though. Like to me, the most actual valuable time I can give someone is privacy, and give them 100% my 100% attention, my actual presence, and be there in the moment, because that is invaluable to any human. And if you really think of relationships, how are they built? It's built through actual time, affection, and trying to be there for that individual. And I feel like we lose this disconnect so much through social media. We have these fake friends, we have these fake, obviously, and I mean fake because they're just social media people. Are they there if you die, if you're in a jail, or if you fucking get caught?
But you know what?
I mean it though. Can you call them up and they can come get you?
It'll be connection with you, because they think there's going to be some sort of give back. So, them connecting on your page and engaging, and then you connecting.
SFS.
Grows their
shout
page,
out for
right?
shout out.
So it's all that shit that you get. And then what I always get clients say is this: they're always like, oh, she's really nice. I chat to all the time on social media. And then they meet them at a show and they just walk straight past them and don't even acknowledge them. And they're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, well, that's because that's who they actually are.
That's who they are.
Fucking Susie, that's all, nice to you because it's going to benefit their page. Stop being so naive. It's like, it's true. So you are hitting the nail on the head. There are such a thing as
it's fake friends. It's social media friends.
Right. Exactly.
And it's the circle that you create on social media that then you feel this credibility, or I don't know, relevancy over these people. Oh, I have so-and-so that messages me. Oh, let's just put it for an example. This is really random, but this is an account that always messages mine that I find really weird. And if you guys hear him or see a DM from him, just don't respond. Like Marlon Wayans, like he's a comedian, and like, come on, he hits on my Instagram.
Really?
Marlon Wayans hitting me up all the freaking time, trying to like.
That is so funny.
Like, again, he's a big time comedian. Like,
all I think of is more money.
Or all I think is white chicks, bro. Like, all I think is white chicks, like the movie.
Yeah,
and this guy in the freaking DMs being so slimy. So, and I know it's his account because it's the same account that everybody reports.
He's old. Like
no shit, he's old. He's an old time comedian. He's a white chick.
Young to be doing that kind of behavior. It's like,
oh, woman, all he does is sends DMs because he's Marlon Wayans. He's gonna get a lot of. He's gonna get not just away with it, but I'm sure he gets a lot of chicks, man. Like,
I'm sure he does too.
Left and right, like
he was a big deal back in the day, and he also, it was pretty deep.
It's like if Kevin Hart does it in 10 years, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, they're pretty big comedians, but it's just nuts. Like, guys, social media is not real, and you cannot think that whoever's hitting on you, whoever's just trying to create a relationship with you online is real. And I don't want to say that actual relationships aren't built online, because I've had some
they can be. Yeah, they can be.
But most genuine relationships across the globe, and all actual like relationships, with partner to partner, but it's very rare to see it versus just the fake friendship that we see online that is just like, hey girlfriend, I like, support what you do, but at the same time I'm not gonna die for you. Of course they're not gonna die for you. Why would they die for you?
Not a ride or die.
Right? Like, so knowing that, again, social media is not 100% real. You're going to make some good connections. Social media is to connect with others. And the thing is that sometimes we realize, and maybe don't realize, social media, when we connect with so many people, we lose connect with real people. And when we lose connection with real people, we can't be social in real life. We're only
exactly right.
On social media.
Actually, you know what? I can think of, and I'm definitely.
I know so many people that are like this.
I'm definitely not going to name names, but
I'm not either. I'm not going to call them out.
I know 3 or 4 very high.
No more. Oh my God, it's
massive international names. And when you get them in person, they're fucking retarded.
Oh, I already know who you're talking about.
They're socially retarded. They cannot string a sentence together. They literally, they're terrible in a social setting. I got a few that I know. Oh,
I already know who you're talking about, and because we met them. And
you don't understand these people,
because guess what? They record themselves 1,000 times before they put it out there to you. And if they record themselves 1,000 times before they put it out on their page, that means that they're already so insecure about themselves that they had to take 1,000 times the actual.
Or they're not comfortable to just wing it, and they're not comfortable to have something that might be 80% there, not 100% perfect, and actually be real. You know what I mean? Like,
and most likely they're not social, honestly, right? Like if you just said we're not able to really
well, it's because they're stuck inside their phone on their social media all the time rather than actually.
No, don't be that person. Like be social with real people, be there for your family, your friends, your partner, your kids, the people that are super important in your life. And then social media comes after. If that social media takes over your actual life,
I also think too, if you're living a real life, you actually have more content to create because you have more conversations, there's more situations, there's more reflections, there's so much more stuff from life you can then go and share and be like, hey, look, I was having this conversation with people the other day. This is something's been popping up, or I've been noticing this. And you can literally start a conversation online about it. And it's a much more engaging and a much more
productive
conversation than a boat and a handbag, people.
Oh yeah. And you know what? The productivity that we lose, because what you just said was great. We gain something out of social media there, but what if we really lever and balance out the gains and the losses that we have from social media here? It's mainly time. And we mainly lose time unless we go back to actually making money on social media, having sponsors pay you, having maybe companies that are, obviously
worth it.
Correct. Like maybe they're giving you some actual items to be able to put on your page. That's again a sponsored post. So it doesn't mean they actually give you physical money, although that is what sponsorship means. They would actually pay you to do the post. But some sponsorships work with giving products and just being able to post a product, right? So that is part of the branding deal. But if you're not on there doing these things to obligation reasons, then why are you trying to just live on social media, be a non-paid influencer, and just be an intern and work for free? Because you're spending 8 hours a day. I'm being pretty average here, from 4 to 6, for you to just be wasting the time that you can spend on your life. Building the life that you're trying to be on social media. So whether if that is to build your business, I don't know, go spend some time hitting some doors, making some sales, making some calls, hitting the phone, or if social media is a platform for you to be able to get out and do some business outreach, then outreach on social media rather than trying to just surf social media. So there is a way to use social media to your advantage. But if you're just sitting there surfing, scrolling, wasting your time, and it's hurting your mindset, it's hurting your actual productivity, you need to get off, do at least a 7-day detox. But if I really highly recommend
how long did you go off? How long did you go
30 days.
You did 30 days. Nothing.
So no, let me clarify, because I actually have a business on there, so I couldn't just go like hiatus 100% like 30 days. But I made myself post-show. I was already so inactive. Like I was already like practically lost from it because I was just so overwhelmed with the amount of DMs and comments and everything that had came through post-show. So then I'm like, you know what, Steph, just don't stress out about the feedback and all the stuff. Like let yourself actually get better, because I got sick. And afterwards, after 2 weeks after, I'm like, you know what? This feels good to not really be on. And then the moment I went back on, I was like overwhelmed. I was so stressed out. I got this very big cloud of just judgment on myself, like just for my own lens. Doesn't mean nobody else. This meant nobody else. It was just my own cloud. Like, no, this is just not the place I need to be right now. No. And knowing that you have those moments, and understand that we all get it. Don't feel pressured. Don't feel like you got to be somewhere at a certain time. You just know you get that type of feeling. Just get off. And I got off. I was able to kind of set, and Carrie was able to kind of get on for myself and just do a couple stories and stuff. I'm like, I would tell them kind of what I would want, a couple things here and there that I knew I needed to get up. And that was it. I literally just stayed off. stayed off. Guys, the break has done me wonders because now, guess what? I'm more motivated again to come back on.
Yeah,
I'm
and
motivated
that's what I mean.
Content
That's
back.
actually what it does. I think it reinvigorates you, and it lets you it lets you have conversations around the things you've learned though in your time off too.
I just felt lost. I felt lost even almost like, what do I give? What do I say? What do I want? What is it that I'm trying to even do here? And
what is it you want to accomplish with it even, right? Yeah.
So taking that step back has allowed me to not just reassess my actual vision for my social media, but also what I want to put across as my message. So now I'm able to, go back on, not feel so pressured and just go and give whatever it is that, I want to give versus before I felt pressure to do a certain thing. Yeah. So now time back, and I know I've said that a lot, but leading into prep, I felt like that was already building up. So after prep, after the show, it built up to a point I was like, okay, I don't know what I've been running from. I don't know what it is that I've been actually accumulating, and I figured it out. I'm like, oh, it's this fucking social media. God damn it. I'm going to get rid of you for a little bit and see what happens. And you know what? I feel so much better. And
I might need to do this after my show, maybe by the time I get out.
Because you'll be burnt out by that point. And that's what I dealt with. Like, I felt like leading into the show, I was already just like, why do I feel like all my ends are essentially burnt out? And it was for me, and I'm sure Allie, you'll end up on the same scenario here. Is because you're having to detail and document all your stuff. You're going to be burnt out with social, but hey, go take a trip and then be able to, reinvigorate yourself. A little small trip, and now I'm back, and now I got my shit back together. I'm caught up with all work, and a new month is coming. And what is a new sense of a new refreshment? Month, and I feel like it's coming what, next week? So we're good, right? Next week is already a new month, October. So
I'm freaking out these months rolling around because it's like
you're doing great, Allie. I'm excited to keep watching your progress.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna close out our session so I can go and get this check-in done and find out exactly what I've achieved in the last week.
Go get those metrics done.
Get the laser focus on for the next week with the new targets for what I want to drop in the following week. So
hey, if you haven't been following Allie, she's been posting all of her progress and updates leading up to Atlantic City, which is December 3rd, and she is documenting it all. So go and give her a follow and make sure you're watching all the stories. She's making sure she's keeping up to date. So I'm excited, Allie. Keep killing it, woman. Thanks, you're doing awesome. You're leading from the front. Love it.
Thank you. So don't detox on my journey by any means. Everyone can keep following that.
No, please. If anything, I would just probably maybe go on to watch Allie's just to get a little motivated and then hop back off. But don't go watch all that other bullshit that we have on social media.
All right, guys, I hope that has actually given you a little bit of food for thought. And for some of you, I hope it gives you the nudge you need to actually, take the blue pill and check out the matrix for a little while, because I think it's probably necessary if you're starting to feel a bit, angst with it. But until next week, everybody, we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Queen Divas, Queens of Fitness podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Queen Divas Pod, on Twitter at Queen Divas 4, and follow our hosts on Instagram, Alicia at Alicia Gowans _WBFF Pro, and Steph at Stephanie Ayala 7. See you all next week.